This is about my father, the man who raised me with gentle hands and infinite patience, and my sister Jenny, the person I thought I knew better than anyone in this world. My name is Susan. I'm 62 years old, and what I'm about to tell you happened last fall in Portland, Oregon. It's a story about the hardest choice I've ever had to make, and it starts with a phone call that changed everything. My father, Frank, is 85. He's got Parkinson's disease, which means his hands shake and walking is difficult, but his mind, sharp as ever. He can still quote Shakespeare, still beats me at chess when I visit, still remembers every birthday, anniversary, and random Tuesday when something important happened 40 years ago. When Mom passed away 3 years ago from cancer, Dad managed on his own for a while. He was stubborn about it, insisting he could handle things. But by last September, it was clear he needed help. That's when Jenny called me. "Susan, I've been thinking," she said. It was a Tuesday evening. I remember because I was making pot roast, David's favorite. "I think Dad should move in with me." Jenny's my younger sister by 4 years. She'd just gone through a messy divorce, sold her house in Sacramento, and moved back to Portland. She'd been renting a small apartment, working remotely for some tech company, and honestly, she seemed lost. The divorce had hit her hard. When she suggested taking care of Dad, I felt relief wash over me. "Are you sure?" I asked, stirring the pot. "It's a lot of work, Jenny. The medications, the physical therapy appointments, helping him with basic things." "I want to do this," she said, and there was something in her voice. Determination, maybe, or desperation. "I need to do something meaningful right now, Susan, and he's our father. Let me help." David and I talked about it that night. We have a spare room. We could have taken Dad in ourselves, but David travels for work. I'm still working full-time as a school counselor, and our house has stairs, which would be difficult for Dad. Jenny's apartment was ground floor, had a walk-in shower, and frankly, she had the time. She worked from home, her schedule was flexible. "If you're sure," I told her the next day. "I'm sure." 2 weeks later, Dad moved in with Jenny. She set up the second bedroom beautifully, bought a comfortable recliner, put his favorite books on shelves where he could reach them. She took him to his doctor's appointments, managed his medications, helped him with physical therapy exercises. For the first month, it seemed perfect. I'd visit every Sunday afternoon. We'd have tea. Dad would tell his old stories. Jenny would laugh at the punchlines she'd heard 100 times. She seemed happier, more purposeful. Dad seemed content. I'd go home feeling grateful, feeling like our family had found its rhythm again after Mom's death. Then October came, and things started to shift. The first time I noticed something was off, Dad was quieter than usual. I'd brought over apple pie, his favorite, from this bakery on Hawthorne he loved. He took small bites, nodding politely, but that enthusiasm, that spark in his eyes when he talked about the things he enjoyed, it wasn't there. "You okay, Dad?" I asked. "Fine, sweetheart. Just tired." Jenny was in the kitchen, and when I went to help her with dishes, I mentioned it. "Dad seems a little down today. He's been having rough nights," she said, scrubbing a plate harder than necessary. "The Parkinson's is getting worse, Susan. Some days are just harder than others." That made sense. I knew Parkinson's was progressive. I squeezed her shoulder. "You're doing an amazing job, Jenny. I hope you know that." She didn't look at me, just kept washing dishes. The second Sunday in October, Dad had a bruise on his forearm, purple and yellow, the kind that's a few days old. "What happened here?" I asked gently, touching near it. Dad pulled his arm back, almost flinching. "Oh, I bumped into the bathroom door frame. You know how clumsy I get." But Dad's bathroom door frame was padded. Jenny had put foam padding on all the sharp corners when he moved in. I'd seen it myself, commented on how thoughtful it was. Jenny appeared in the doorway. "He's been having more falls lately," she said. "I've told him to use the walker, but you know Dad. Stubborn." She said it with a laugh, but there was an edge to it. Dad didn't laugh. He just looked down at his hands, trembling slightly in his lap. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. David told me I was overthinking it, that caring for someone with Parkinson's was hard, that bruises happened. Your sister's doing her best, he said. The third Sunday, I came early, unannounced. I'd been at the farmer's market and bought fresh flowers. Thought I'd surprise them. When I knocked, it took Jenny a while to answer. When she did, she looked flustered, hair messy, eyes red. Susan, I didn't know you were coming today. I was nearby, thought I'd drop off some dahlias for Dad. I tried to peer past her into the apartment. Is this a bad time? No, come in. But she was blocking the doorway slightly. Dad's just resting. He had a rough morning. I went to his room. The door was closed, which was unusual. Dad liked his door open, liked to hear what was going on in the apartment, liked to feel included. I knocked softly. Dad? It's Susan. Come in, sweetheart. His voice was hoarse. When I opened the door, the room was dark, curtains drawn. Dad was in bed, which was strange for noon on a Sunday. He was always up by 8, even on bad days. You okay? I sat on the edge of his bed, just tired. He wouldn't meet my eyes. That's when I saw it. Another bruise, this one on his upper arm, peeking out from his t-shirt sleeve. And his water glass on the nightstand was empty, had clearly been empty for a while based on the dried ring at the bottom. Have you had water today, Dad? Jenny's been busy. I didn't want to bother her. Something cold settled in my stomach. Dad, you can always ask for water. That's not bothering anyone. He just nodded, still not looking at me. I filled his water glass in the bathroom, brought it back, watched him drink it like he'd been thirsty for hours. In the bathroom, I'd noticed something else. Dad's toothbrush was dry. His towel was dry. His soap didn't look used. When I came back out, Jenny was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables aggressively. How long has he been in bed today? I asked, keeping my voice level. He wanted to sleep in. Chop, chop, chop. Susan, I know you mean well, but I'm with him every day. I know what he needs. I'm not criticizing, Jenny. I'm just concerned. Well, don't be. She finally looked at me, and there was something hard in her eyes I'd never seen before. I've got this under control. Maybe if you were here more often instead of just your convenient Sunday visits, you'd see that. I left shortly after, kissed Dad goodbye. He grabbed my hand when I leaned down, held it for a moment longer than usual. Love you, sweetheart, he whispered. Love you too, Dad. That night, I called Jenny's phone 3 times. She didn't answer. I texted, "Can we talk? I'm worried about Dad." She responded at 11 p.m. He's fine. Stop hovering. I couldn't stop thinking about his empty water glass, about the unused bathroom, about how he flinched when I touched near his bruise, about that look in his eyes, something I'd never seen before. Fear. Tuesday afternoon, I left work early and drove to Jenny's apartment. I had a key she'd given me for emergencies. I told myself this counted. Jenny's car wasn't there. I let myself in, calling out just in case. No answer. Dad was in his room, in his recliner, staring at the wall. The TV was off. His lunch tray from earlier was still on the side table, food barely touched and cold. Dad? I knelt beside his chair. Where's Jenny? She had errands. His voice was flat. How long have you been sitting here? I don't know. A while. I looked around the room. Really looked. Dad's clothes from yesterday were still on the floor. His bed wasn't made. The curtains were drawn again, making the room dim and depressing. His pill organizer on the dresser showed medications that should have been taken this morning still sitting there. Did you take your morning meds, Dad? He looked at the organizer, confused. I don't remember. Frank has Parkinson's, not dementia. He'd always been meticulous about his medications. This wasn't like him. Let me check your bathroom, I said. Susan, don't. His voice had an urgency that stopped me. Please, don't make things harder. Harder for who? He closed his eyes. Just leave it alone. But I couldn't. I went to the bathroom anyway. What I saw made my hands shake. The shower was dry, obviously hadn't been used in days. Dad's razor was in the same spot I'd seen it the week before, untouched. His laundry hamper was overflowing. And there, in the trash can, I saw empty wine bottles. 3 of them. Jenny didn't drink wine, she hated it. Mom used to joke that Jenny was the only person who could make a glass of wine last an entire dinner party because she'd take tiny, polite sips and never finish it. I came back out. Dad, I need you to be honest with me. Is Jenny drinking? He was quiet for a long time. Finally. Sometimes. How often is sometimes? Most nights. Susan, please. She's going through a hard time with the divorce. She's helping me. She just gets overwhelmed sometimes. Has she hurt you? The pause was too long. Dad? Not on purpose, he said quietly. She just gets frustrated. I'm slow. I spill things. I need help with everything. She doesn't mean it. I felt something break inside my chest. What does she do when she's frustrated? It's fine. Dad, what does she do? His hands were trembling more than usual, but I knew it wasn't just the Parkinson's now. She yells. Sometimes she grabs my arm too hard when she's helping me walk. Once she forgot to help me to the bathroom and I had an accident, and she was so angry, Susan. She left me sitting in it for hours because she said I needed to learn to call for help sooner. But I did call for help. She just didn't come. I sat on the floor beside his chair, my own hands shaking now. This was my sister. My little sister who used to make daisy chains in the backyard. Who cried when she found hurt birds and insisted we try to save them. Who called me every week just to talk. Why didn't you tell me? I whispered. Because she's your sister. Because she needs this. Because I'm old and useless and who else would take me? Stop. You are not useless. And this is not okay. Susan, please don't make trouble. Where else would I go? I can't burden you and David. You're not a burden. You're my father. I stayed with him until Jenny came home 2 hours later. When she walked in and saw me, her expression flickered through several emotions, surprise, anger, then forced cheerfulness. Susan! Twice in 1 week. What a treat. We need to talk, I said. Actually, I have work to do, so… Now, Jenny. Dad excused himself to use the bathroom, walking slowly with his walker. Jenny watched him go, then turned to me. What's this about? When's the last time Dad had a shower? Her face hardened. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were here to inspect my caregiving. When's the last time he had a shower, Jenny? He can shower himself. He's not completely helpless. He has Parkinson's. He needs help. When's the last time you helped him? Oh, so now I'm a bad person because I respect his privacy and dignity? His dignity would be better served by being clean, by taking his medications on time, by not sitting alone in a dark room for hours. Jenny's expression changed then, something cold and defensive. Get out, Jenny. I said, get out. You come in here with your judgment, your perfect life, with your perfect husband and your perfect job, and you dare to tell me how to take care of our father? You know what, Susan? I'm here every single day. Every single day. Where are you? Nowhere. Sunday visits don't count. I'm trying to help. I don't need your help. Dad doesn't need your help. We're fine. We weren't fine. Nothing about this was fine. I left, but I called Dad's doctor that evening. Dr. Patterson had been seeing Dad for years. I explained what I'd observed. He was quiet for a moment. Mrs. Chen, I can't discuss your father's medical details without his consent, but I can tell you he's missed his last 2 appointments. Your sister called and canceled them. Ice ran through my veins. Why would she cancel them? She said he wasn't feeling up to it, that the trips were too difficult for him. Dad loved going to appointments. It got him out of the apartment. He liked Dr. Patterson. This made no sense. That night, I barely slept. David found me at 2 a.m. sitting at the kitchen table, looking at my phone. Sue, come to bed. I think Jenny's hurting him, David. I think my sister is abusing our father. Saying it out loud, made it real, made it impossible to unsee. David sat down across from me. What do you want to do? I don't know. If I report her, Adult Protective Services gets involved. There's an investigation. It could take weeks. What happens to Dad during that time? But if I confront her again, she'll just deny it, get better at hiding it. What about cameras? I looked up at him. You've told me about families who install nanny cams when they're worried about their kids' babysitters. This isn't different. It's different. It's my sister. Exactly. Which is why you need proof. Because part of you still doesn't want to believe it. He was right. Part of me was still hoping I was wrong, that I was overreacting, that there was some explanation that would make this all make sense. The next day, I ordered a camera on Amazon. Small, discreet, with night vision and audio. It arrived Thursday. Friday afternoon, while Jenny was at the grocery store, I let myself into the apartment again. Dad, I need to do something, and I need you to trust me. I showed him the camera. His face went pale. Susan, no. If she finds out, she won't find it. It'll be hidden. Dad, I need to know what's happening when I'm not here. I need proof if things are as bad as I think they are. She's going to be so angry. Let me worry about that. I placed the camera on his bookshelf, hidden behind a photo frame of Mom. The angle was perfect, covered most of the room, including the door. I showed Dad how the indicator light worked, how to tell it was recording. Don't look at it, I instructed. Act normal, pretend it's not there. I set it to record continuously, with alerts sent to my phone if it detected motion or sound. That first night, I barely touched my dinner. David kept glancing at me across the table. At 8 p.m., my phone buzzed. Motion detected in Dad's room. I opened the app, watched the live feed. Jenny entered the room, and I could see immediately she'd been drinking. Her movements were loose, unsteady. Time for your meds, she said, but her voice had an edge. Dad was already in his pajamas, sitting in his recliner. Thank you, sweetheart. She dumped pills into his hand from the organizer. He started to take them one by one, slowly, the way he always did because swallowing was difficult with the Parkinson's. Oh my God, could you be any slower? Jenny snapped. Just take them. I'm trying. You're always trying. You're always so pathetic and slow and needy. Do you know what I gave up to take care of you? Do you have any idea? Jenny, I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't cut it, Dad. I'm stuck here, cleaning up after you, listening to you shuffle around all day, dealing with your shaking hands and your spilled food and your constant needs. I can't date. I can't go out. I'm trapped. I never asked you. That's the problem. You never ask. You just exist, being a burden. And I'm supposed to smile and take care of you because that's what good daughters do. She grabbed the water glass from his hand, and water sloshed onto his lap. He flinched. Now look what you made me do. She turned and left the room, leaving him sitting there with wet pajamas, pills only half taken, staring at the door. I closed the app, hands shaking. David looked at me. How bad? Bad. That was night one. I told myself I needed more footage. One incident could be dismissed as she was having a bad night. She was drunk. It was a one-time thing. I needed a pattern. The second night was worse. Jenny came in at midnight. I woke up to the motion alert, watched through half-closed eyes as she turned on Dad's light, bright and sudden. Wake up. Dad startled awake, confused. Jenny? What? I need to move you. I'm having friends over tomorrow, and I don't want them to see you shuffling around like an invalid. It's midnight, sweetheart. I don't care what time it is. Get up. She pulled him out of bed, not gently. He stumbled, tried to reach for his walker, but she was pulling him toward the door. Jenny, please, I need my walker. You need to move faster, that's what you need. She was gripping his upper arm, the same place I'd seen bruises. Dad cried out softly. You're hurting me. Oh, I'm hurting you? You know what hurts? Wasting my life on you. She shoved him back onto the bed, not hard enough to injure him but hard enough that he fell awkwardly. Then she left, turning off the light, leaving him in the dark. I heard Dad crying, soft, quiet crying that broke my heart into pieces. I wanted to stop it right then. I wanted to drive over, burst in, take Dad home. But I thought about court, about a judge, about Jenny saying it was a misunderstanding, about me not having enough proof. So I waited, and I hated myself for waiting. Night 3, she forgot his evening medications entirely. Night 4, she came in drunk again, yelling about her ex-husband, using Dad as a verbal punching bag. Night 5, she left him sitting in his recliner from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. without checking on him once. No lunch, no water, nothing. By night 6, I had hours of footage. I had evidence of verbal abuse, neglect, physical roughness, withholding care. I had enough, but I was terrified, because this was my sister, my little sister, and I was about to destroy her life. Sunday morning, I called my friend Rachel. Rachel's a lawyer, specializes in family law. I sent her the footage. She called me back an hour later. Susan, this is elder abuse. Clear, documented elder abuse. You need to report this immediately. I know. Do you? Because you sound hesitant. She's my sister Rachel. And he's your father. Who do you choose? I knew the answer. I'd always known the answer. That afternoon, I went to Jenny's apartment with David. I'd called Adult Protective Services that morning. I'd filed a report. A caseworker was coming Tuesday. But first, I needed to get Dad out. Jenny answered the door in her bathrobe, surprised to see both of us. David, Susan. This is unexpected. We're here to pick up Dad, I said. Her face changed. Excuse me? Dad's coming to stay with us for a while. No, he's not. He lives here. Not anymore. You can't just take him. I'm his caregiver. Are you? I pulled out my phone, opened the video app, because I have 6 days of footage that suggests otherwise. The blood drained from her face. You've been spying on me? I've been protecting our father. There's a difference. Susan, you don't understand. I understand perfectly. I understand you've been verbally abusing him, neglecting him, physically hurting him. I understand you've been drinking and taking out your anger on an 85-year-old man with Parkinson's who can't defend himself. It's not like that. Then what's it like, Jenny? Explain it to me. She was crying now. I couldn't do it. I thought I could, but I couldn't. It's so much harder than I thought. He needs so much, and I'm alone, and I'm angry all the time, and I just snapped. You've been snapping for weeks. You left him sitting in his own waste. You grabbed him hard enough to leave bruises. You yelled at him, belittled him, made him afraid in what should have been a safe place. I didn't mean, I don't care what you meant. I care what you did. David had already gone to Dad's room. I could hear them talking quietly, heard David helping him pack. What are you going to do? Jenny whispered. I've filed a report with Adult Protective Services. They're investigating. I've sent the footage to the police. They're considering charges. Susan, please. I'm your sister, and he's my father, and I'm choosing him. Jenny collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. Part of me wanted to comfort her, wanted to tell her it would be okay. But the bigger part of me thought about Dad, sitting alone in the dark, crying quietly so no one would hear. We took Dad home that day. I'd already converted our guest room, had rails installed in the bathroom, had his medications organized. It wasn't perfect, but it was safe. It was loving. That first night, I helped Dad shower. Really helped him, with patience and gentleness. His skin was dry, his hair needed washing. He had bruises in various stages of healing on both arms, on his hip, on his back. I'm sorry, I whispered as I helped him dry off. For what? For not seeing it sooner. For letting it happen. You didn't let anything happen, sweetheart. You saved me. Adult Protective Services came Tuesday. The investigation was thorough. They interviewed Dad, reviewed the footage, inspected Jenny's apartment. The police got involved. There were conversations about pressing charges. In the end, Jenny wasn't arrested. The district attorney said they'd probably pursue charges, but it would take time. Dad didn't want to press charges anyway. He just wanted to be safe. Jenny's landlord evicted her after the investigation became public. She lost her remote job when her security clearance was reviewed. I heard through a mutual friend that she moved to Seattle, that she's working retail now, that she's in therapy. I don't know if that's true. We haven't spoken since that Sunday. Sometimes I wonder if I made the right choice. Then I look at Dad, sitting at our kitchen table, doing crossword puzzles, laughing at David's terrible jokes, and I know I did. He's gained back the weight he'd lost. His hands still shake, but his eyes don't have that fear anymore. He takes showers regularly, takes his medications on time, has his appointments with Dr. Patterson. We hired a part-time caregiver to help during the days when David and I are at work, and she's wonderful, patient, and kind. Last week, Dad planted tomatoes in our backyard. His hands shook while he dug, and it took him 3 times as long as it would have years ago, but he did it. When he finished, he stood up slowly, smiled at me. "Your mother would have loved this," he said. "She would have. She'd be proud of you too, Susan, for doing the hard thing." I think about Jenny sometimes, about how caregiving broke her, or maybe revealed something that was always there, about how loving someone doesn't mean accepting abuse, about how hard it is to choose between family members when they're hurting each other. But mostly I think about Dad, safe and warm in our home, and I know I'd make the same choice again, every single time. If you're watching this and you're caring for an elderly parent, please know that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say you can't do it alone. There are resources, support groups, respite care. What's not okay is taking your frustration out on someone who's vulnerable. And if you suspect someone is being abused, please act. I know it's hard. I know it's especially hard when it's family. But that person needs someone to choose them, to protect them, to stand up for them when they can't stand up for themselves. You don't truly know what someone's capable of until they're tested, until they're tired and frustrated and pushed to their limits. Some people rise to the challenge, others break. And some, like my sister, hurt the people they're supposed to protect. I sleep at night knowing I did the right thing. I don't know where Jenny is now, and honestly, I don't want to know. Maybe she's getting help. Maybe she's learned from this. Maybe she's become a better person. But Dad's here, and he's safe, and he's loved. And that's what matters. If you're elderly and watching this, please know that you deserve safety, you deserve dignity. You deserve to be treated with kindness and respect, not as a burden but as a human being who's lived a full life. If someone is hurting you, it's not your fault. You didn't do anything to deserve it. And it's okay to speak up, to ask for help, to say that something's wrong. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps someone out there make the choice I had to make. The hard choice. The right choice. Choose the vulnerable. Choose the victim. Choose love over blood when blood turns toxic. Every single time.